Hello, movie lovers. I'm Adam.
And I'm Emily.
And every month we bring you what movies did we watch the previous month because we challenged ourselves to watch 366 movies this year, one for every day of 2024. New movies, but they don't have to be new to 2024. They just have to be new to us. And this video is all about the movies we watched in June. So buckle in, enjoy the ride, because we watched some pretty good movies and some absolute trash. And the first movie that we watched was Vivo from 2021. This is a Netflix animated movie about a little girl who's sort of fucking weird and a kinkajou who is basically a small human, and they have to deliver a love letter to this woman who's a famous singer from a dead old guy. That's the entire movie. It's very weird. Animation's just okay. Music written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also provides the voice of the kinkajou. And if you like him, maybe you'll like this. If you're like me and you don't like him because you realize that every single piece of music he ever makes sounds exactly the same, you probably won't like this. 2.5 stars.
I gave it 3 stars. It's an okay movie. That's all there really is to say about it. It's not going to be the best movie of the year, but it wasn't the worst thing I watched either, so. Next we watched 2024 is The Beautiful Game, all about the Homeless World Cup of soccer, football, as they call it. This is a very interesting story. I only gave it 2.5 stars, unfortunately, because the main character is actually pretty terrible and doesn't really get any better by the end. So I'm not sure why we focused on him as opposed to the actual beautiful game itself.
I gave it 2.5 stars. The next movie we watched was called Alone at Night. It was the third movie we watched in June. That movie came from 2022. Cam girls are scared, I guess. I don't know. It was a really stupid movie. It didn't really have a plot or a through line. It just kind of was like different events happening simultaneously, but also maybe not simultaneously. There's a killer, but there's not a killer. I don't know. Movie made 0 sense. It was shot for what looked like $25. No equipment was used. No lights. No good cameras. Nothing. This was a bad movie top to bottom, and whoever was the actors in it should probably find another job. I gave it 0.5 star.
I gave it 1 star. Being in the woods at night, kind of scary. Enough. Then we watched 2018's The After Party. This is all about a rapper and his manager after they blow their one big chance, go on a crazy night of escapades trying to get that last chance back. I gave it 3.5 stars because it was a lot of fun. It was, I don't want to say realistic, but you could see this happening. My only downer on it is it was rap without the music doesn't sound great to me, so I just couldn't get involved with that. But it was still a fun try.
So acapella, you don't like acapella?
I don't like acapella rap. It just sounds like
it's
weird, poem, beat poetry. You know, gotta be
so
snapping.
You don't like beat poetry?
Not really.
So you don't like poetry? Okay. I gave it 3 stars, which is weird because it's less than what she gave it. I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. I just think something was missing. The 5th movie we watched was called Rust Creek from 2018. This is a woman experiencing the all men thing that happens in the world, where all men are just evil. Except for that one guy. Everybody knows that one guy who no matter what probably isn't evil. And she does come across that one guy. But he cooks drugs, so I don't know. She gets lost in the woods when 2 hillbillies think she witnessed a murder, so they try to kill her as well, and then this drug cooker saves her? I don't know. Super weird movie, great performances, great atmosphere. That's why I gave it 3 stars, because it had something. It just didn't all come together.
I gave it 3.5 stars because I actually really enjoyed the friendship that the woman and the drug cooker built. If there was a weird rom-com about those two, I would have been here for it, so.
Except she was 17 and he was 40.
No.
Yes. She was literally headed to college and he had been married, wife, kids, and everything previously. He was at least mid-30s. She was headed to college. Hey, that would be a terrible rom-com.
There have been so many movies recently about, cougars or whatever, the age gap not being a thing, so.
No.
I was here for their chemistry. Then we watched 2024's Hitman. This is all about a regular guy who pretends to be a hitman for the police so that they can catch people trying to hire him as a hitman. And he falls in love, I guess. Like, the best thing was the performances. I gave it 2.5 stars simply for that, but it was actually rather boring.
I also gave it 2.5 stars. I don't need to see 2 hours of a guy lying to get laid. And then the ending just completely ruined the movie. I won't ruin it for you, but don't watch it. Wonderland was the next movie we watched, all the way back from 2003. Val Kilmer stars as John Holmes, the famous porn star, but it's not about his life in that industry. It's about his life after he got out of that. And some weird stuff happens, and he's in trouble with the wrong sorts of people for doing the wrong sorts of things. And you get two sides to the story. You get John Holmes' side to the story. You get the bad guy's side to the story. And we all know that the truth is somewhere in the middle, but it was interesting to see both sides play out and how they both remember certain experiences. I thought the performances were probably the best part of this movie. The back and forth nature of the storytelling was just okay. It was interesting, but it could have been done in a much better way. So I gave it 3 stars, hoping I was going to get a little bit more.
I also gave it 3 stars because I really liked the he said, she said, a story aspect, but it was very confusing to watch. Next, we watch Kate from 2024. Sorry, 2021. I'm so used to saying 2024 by now. 2021. This is basically female John Wick. She's an assassin person who finds a kid that now she has to protect. I liked the action. It wasn't really well done, but it was still interesting. I gave it 3 stars.
I only gave it 2.5 stars. I've seen better. The next movie was The Greatest Hits from 2024. A new movie, but it felt like an old movie, which was super weird. About a woman who listens to music because it gives her a special power to travel through time so she can try to rescue her boyfriend from dying in a car accident. And I gotta tell you guys, I only gave it 2 stars because the entire time watching the movie, I was like, just tell him. You're literally in the past talking to him right now. Be like, what's up, dude? You know, like that day in the future when we go on a car ride, there's going to be an accident. So like on July, whatever day it is, don't get in the car. Boom, bam, done, solved. Whole movie ends in 5 minutes, but she's stupid. I hate this movie. 2 stars.
I gave it 2 stars because the budding relationship that she was having with someone else was way more interesting than her trying to go back in time to save this other dude. I wish we would have focused on that. Then we watched The Mean One from 2022. Basically, if Grinch was purely evil and stayed evil. I gave it 1.5 stars because I really enjoyed the little nods to every other Grinch that we have gotten. More specifically, the Jim Carrey version, in my opinion. But you know what you're getting when you watch this movie. It's not going to be great, but it'll be entertaining-ish.
I gave it 1 star. It's a stupid horror movie, but some of it was fun. Next movie on the list is a movie called Frequently Asked Questions about time travel. Well, I have a frequently asked question, and it's not about time travel. It's about why did you make the name of your movie so long? Would have been a lot easier to find if you didn't have to type in an entire paragraph to find the movie. But this movie is all about 3 friends who are out having a drink one night when all of a sudden one of them experiences time travel. And then he brings the other 2 along. They get lost in time trying to get back to the moment before they started traveling in time, because if they don't, they're all going to die. It's the weirdest movie, but it's really interesting to watch because they give different perspectives of time travel, and they kind of relate back to different movies that you've watched throughout time, like Back to the Future, the Avengers Endgame movie, stuff like that. You really get to see them play with each variation of time travel, which I thought was really interesting. Plus, the performances are fantastic, and it's a pretty funny movie. So, 3 stars.
I gave it 3 stars as well. It was just okay. Yeah.
It exists.
Now, this is a time in which we separated watching movies. There's tons of movies that he has seen that I have not. So every once in a while, I like to just watch movies, or we watch them for our podcast. In this case, it was I just really wanted to watch this movie, and that was Jennifer's Body from 2009. This is all about a woman who they want to sacrifice her to get talent, and turns out she becomes a succubus and starts murdering everyone. I really enjoyed it. Megan Fox was really great. I thought that was her best performance I've ever seen her in. I gave it 3 stars.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Glad you finally watched it.
Yeah.
While she was watching that, I watched a movie from 2016 called The Love Witch, which is about a witch who puts spells on men so that they'll fall in love with her, and then they have sex. Whether they're married or not, doesn't matter. And then she kills them. For reasons that we don't really know in the movie. But what's really interesting about this movie is it's a callback, or it harkens back to movies from like the early 1960s, early to mid 60s, in the visual presence, in the way they act, in the way it's shot, in the way they speak. It really, watching it, I was like, damn, did I time travel? Because this is amazing. And apparently it's not the only time this director has made movies like this. And now I really want to go back and watch some of their other movies as well. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I gave it 3 stars. I just think it was a little long-winded, and it didn't really come to a satisfying conclusion. All right, the next movie we watched together was called Moving On, about 2 women who are trying to get revenge on a man, in his 80s. They're also in their 80s, because he raped one of them 40 plus years ago. And the reason they didn't get revenge earlier is he was dating their best friend, but now that their best friend has sadly passed away, they feel like now's the time to get revenge. Normally these types of movies are fantastic, but this 2022 movie just didn't really live up to what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be more of a comedy, and it ended up being a very hard drama that also threw comedy in, and so it couldn't balance the two things very well. Performances were also uneven, with Malcolm McDowell being the best part of the movie as the old man. 2 stars.
1.5 stars. I didn't enjoy it.
And I usually love old people do shit movies. Mm-hmm. And this one just, something was missing. Couldn't tell you what.
Yeah, just because you have a few jokes does not mean you are a comedy.
Yeah, definitely.
Then we move on to The Outcast from 2017. A bunch of nerds band together to change their high school by basically deciding what's popular. I enjoyed this movie to an extent. It's not a good, well-made movie. It did change things in their society, so that is at least something. I gave it 3 stars because it felt very Disney Channel original.
Yeah, it was weird. And the performances were off, and the movie was off. And the script was bad. And I'm just getting sad thinking about watching this movie. 2 stars. Prom Dates was another high school movie that we watched from 2024 about 2 girls who dream of going to the perfect prom, but it all changes when one of them discovers she's a lesbian and so can't go with the guy that she's dating because it's just not right. And the other one realizes she's dating a horrible human being, and so she breaks up with him because he cheated on her, and she needs to find the perfect prom date and make the perfect prom, but while she's doing that, she's becoming a raging bitch who loses her best friend, and everything falls apart. And oh my god, I have never hated a main character more in 2024 than I did this character. She sucks. She deserves nothing good in this movie, and it's infuriating when things sort of work out for her. 1 star. Awful movie.
0.5 star. Don't watch it. Then we move on to 2022's Black Light. This is Liam Neeson just doing Liam Neeson things, but kind of being too old for it.
Yeah.
1.5 stars.
Let this man go back to making Schindler's List type movies. Stop putting him in this garbage. 1.5 stars because I like Liam Neeson. But also, I don't need 27 cuts to watch him throw a single punch.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
Yeah.
17th movie of the month was Sleeping with Other People. This movie is amazing. From 2015, it stars Jason Sudeikis and Alison Brie, and their chemistry is off the charts as 2 college friends who hook up one night and then don't speak for another 15 years when they are both sex addicts and dealing with personal problems in their own life, and now they have to learn how to just be friends and not romantic lovers, even though they want to be. It's an amazing movie. Performances are off the charts, like so good. It's written so well, so believable. The jokes land every single time. There's literally nothing about this movie that I did not enjoy, except for one thing. It's just a little too long. It takes a little too many twists and turns to finally get where we're going to go. That's why it only got 3.5 stars.
I gave it 4 stars because everything felt super earned, probably because they took a million years to get there. But I enjoyed what I was watching, and I enjoyed where we got to. So,
Fair.
4 stars.
Fair.
This is again where we deviate. I really, for months now, have wanted to watch The Intern with Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro. I've never watched it. I've always wanted to. And I finally was just like, go watch something else so that I can watch this movie.
Yep.
This is all about Robert De Niro's character being bored with retirement, so he becomes an intern at Anne Hathaway's business. I gave it 4 stars because it is emotional. It is thought-provoking. I really enjoyed everything about this movie.
I didn't rate this movie because I didn't watch it for this month, but just go see it. Like, what are you doing? As soon as this video's over, go watch this movie. It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
So in turn, I went to the theater and I watched The Watchers from 2024. And, you know, it's about a movie. It's about a movie? It's not about a movie. It's a movie about fairies who watch people so that they can figure out how to be more like people, and the people are watching them to figure out why they're trapped in this glass box in the middle of the woods. So it's about people watching fairies while fairies are watching people, and I watch the people watching the fairies, watch the fairies, watch the people. A lot of watching happened in this movie, and that's about it, because nothing else happens. Terrible movie. It's directed by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, and my God, she was trying to be her father, and she is bad at it. 1 star because the fairies looked kind of cool.
I'm really excited that I did not watch that movie.
It's bad. Top to bottom, bad. Top to bottom. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, was a movie that we both checked out, but at different times this month. She took her father for Father's Day. I went on another day because I wanted to see it, and she cheated and had already seen it. So I went and checked it out from 2024. It's the prequel to Mad Max: Fury Road, all about Furiosa and her journey from a child to the badass that we see in Fury Road. It's good, but it's not great. It's not Fury Road great. It's mimicking everything about Fury Road, but to just a little less quality.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Now, if we only got this movie and Fury Road never existed, this would be an amazing movie. But you're living up to something that was spectacular, and you just don't quite get there. So 3 stars.
I also gave it 3 stars. I really did not enjoy, they have these title cards in the middle of it. There's 5 of them, 5 parts or whatever. It really segmented the movie for me and made me realize its length, because it is rather long, and they also yada some of the more interesting aspects of this person's story. Rather than showing us how she becomes a badass, they're like, hey, look at her as a kid.
I mean, it's her entire story, top to bottom. You can't just start in the middle.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying they focused on the wrong things.
Nope.
And it couldn't live up to its predecessor, so 3 stars. Then we watched 2021's Die in a Gunfight. This is basically really shitty Romeo versus Juliet.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what this movie is. They fight a lot. And it's weird. And it's not fun.
It's not. I gave it 1 star.
I gave it 1.5 stars because it's got Alexandria Daddario in it, who should probably be a bigger star, but she's not.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Let's talk about a movie that makes no sense also. And it's If from 2024, starring Ryan Reynolds as an imaginary friend. Somewhat. It's so dumb.
Spoilers.
I don't care. Imaginary friends exist, but people can see them, or at least this little girl can see everybody's imaginary friend, and it's super weird. Her dad's in the hospital, maybe dying of something. You don't know because the movie doesn't know. It's dumb. Why does this girl have so many imaginary friends? And why are they trying to match up imaginary friends with new kids? It doesn't make any sense. I hate this movie. Hate it. 2 stars.
The premise works way better than the actual movie, 1 star. Then we watched The Promotion from 2008. This is all about 2 guys who work at a grocery store who are basically fighting over a promotion. It's billed as a comedy. It is not funny, like, in the slightest. I gave it 1.5 stars.
Sean William Scott and what's his name? John C. Reilly are the stars. Their chemistry is off the chart in this movie.
Yes.
They play off each other so well. And John C. Reilly playing the straight man to somebody else trying to be the funny guy, but also trying to be the straight guy to when John C. Reilly is trying to be the funny guy, makes this movie work somewhat. It's just they were stuck in a really bad story. 2 stars.
Yeah.
The Beanie Bubble from 2023, a parody retelling of the Beanie Baby craze from the 90s, where like they get some of it right, but like just over exaggerate and completely add new concepts to the story. It's really weird, but I actually really enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars because I just really liked everything that was happening in this movie. And Zach Galifianakis as the guy who created Beanie Babies, I wanted the whole movie to just feature him. Just have him in every scene. He was so good in this role. I didn't even know it was him for half the movie.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it clicked and I was like, damn, he's so good. And Elizabeth Banks is awesome.
Always. I gave it 3 stars as well. I agree. So much of this movie worked. The one thing that did not work was the time jumping. We never really knew exactly when we were, even when they like did the little title card of like 1993. It got very confusing by the end, and you could have told the same exact story and have the same exact impact if you just did it in chronological order. So, unnecessary. Then we watched 2024's Trigger Warning. This is all about a woman trying to get revenge for her father's death.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's not good.
Jessica Alba's in it.
Yeah, she's not good. 1 star.
But it's nice to see her in a movie again.
I guess.
2
Just not this.
2 stars. I thought some of the action was pretty cool, even if it was completely unbelievable, because Jessica Alba is 90 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
So her taking down dudes who were like 400 pounds in the most unbelievable way. 2 stars. Robots from 2023 was the next movie that we watched. This is a stupid movie, but in the best way. Because it is about 2 people who own illegal robot copies of themselves that they use to swindle people out of money and sex, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then those 2 robots meet and fall in love, and now they're on the run trying to create a life for themselves while their 2 owners are trying to track them down. Yep, it's just as crazy as it sounds, but it is 100% worth watching because the robots are amazing. The biggest downfall is we follow the human side of the story, and I don't care about them. I only care about the robots. Give me more robots. I gave it 2 stars because of that.
I gave it 3 stars because it was still a fun watch. But yeah, the humans suck in this movie.
They
You followed the wrong group.
They really do. And it's super frustrating.
Next, we watched 2020's Vampires vs. the Bronx. Now, if you have ever watched Attack the Block, number 1, go watch it. It's amazing. This is the Temu version of that. The Wish version, if you would. It is a bunch of kids realize that there's vampires trying to take over the Bronx, and they are having to basically fight them to get their neighborhood back. I enjoyed it. It was kind of funny. It kind of worked, but because I had seen Attack the Block first, that's what I had to live up to, and it just didn't. 2.5 stars.
The story just didn't work for me. A lot of it was like, suspend your disbelief to a point beyond what you would normally do to actually make this movie work, and the performances were all kind of bad. I gave it 2.5 stars because I like vampires. And it reminded me of Attack the Block, which just made my heart smile. So you get bonus points for making me think of a better movie. A Family Affair from 2024 is all about Zac Efron being a famous movie star and falling in love with his assistant's mom, played by Nicole Kidman. And, like, let's be fair, who wouldn't fall in love with Nicole Kidman?
I'm not a big fan of hers.
Shut your mouth right now. So, it's just 2 pretty people falling in love together, but, like, it's really well told in a way. She's gonna argue it in a minute, 'cause she did not care for this movie. but it's told in a really good way where you're not supposed to like Zac Efron's character at the beginning, but he changes so much throughout to prove that he's not the person you thought he was, the traditional rom-com route. And that's exactly what I wanted from this movie, and it's what they gave me. And for that reason, 3 stars.
I surprisingly also gave it 3 stars. I thought all the performances were fantastic. It's really hard to make Zac Efron unlikable, and so I never didn't like him in this movie. So I was rooting for him. I wanted to watch his side of the story more often. My biggest gripe with this movie is that we follow Joey King's character, the assistant, for majority of this movie. So I didn't get the romance between Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman's character. They didn't show it enough and build it enough for me to care enough.
Then we watched Go-Karts from 2020.
That's my movie.
What's your movie?
I'm talking about Go-Karts.
It is your turn.
He is so excited to talk about go-karts, or as the Australians would say, just go. This is from 2020, all about an Australian kid who is just really, really good at go-kart racing for reasons.
Many reasons.
We don't understand why he's good at racing, why he wants to be good at racing, what he does to get better at racing.
Well, we do want to know why because he used to race his dad on video games. He loves racing. Damn, man. Did you even watch the movie?
I did. It was not enough. It didn't do enough to convince me. So I gave it 1.5 stars.
It wasn't funny. So I gave it 2.5 stars. I thought it was going to be a comedy about go-kart racing.
Yeah.
Not at all what I got.
No.
But I liked what I got. Kind of. Okay, is it my turn now?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Oh, thank God. Okay. The Power. That's what you gotta do when you say the power.
The Power!
From 2021, this is a movie about a nurse who takes a night shift at a new hospital during the 1970s in England when they were doing planned blackouts to conserve energy, and everything just goes wrong. Like, there's a ghost haunting the hospital who starts doing weird stuff, trying to possess this nurse to get revenge on the people working at the hospital for a SA that happened when she was a child at the hospital. Yes, it seems like it's all fun and games until the story actually comes out, and it is traumatic, and it is heartfelt, and it doesn't feel like it's beating you over the head with the message, but it's making the message powerful enough to affect you. And my God, the performances are top notch. It's not a scary movie by any means. It is tense, it is a little unnerving, but it is more emotionally impactful than anything else. I like this movie quite a bit. I gave it 3 stars.
I also like this movie quite a bit. I also gave it 3 stars. My biggest gripe with this movie was that it gave the message of all men. Not a single dude in this movie was great.
True.
And in a story like this, I feel like you needed at least one dude.
True. It did go a little far with that, but I'm glad it just didn't go farther.
Yeah, it wasn't graphic. It was pretty good.
Yeah, so don't worry about like if that stuff makes you uneasy and it's hard to watch. I'm the same way. I will turn off a movie if they have too graphic of scenes that I don't care for. But this movie handles it really well.
Yes.
Really well.
The last movie we watched for June was Inside Out 2 from 2024.
Yep.
Basically, Riley gets new emotions like anxiety, embarrassment,
things that aren't emotions.
Ennui.
Ennui. And the
jealousy. That's the other one.
What? Ennui is...
No, ennui is boredom.
Envy. Envy was the name of the other emotion,
right.
Not jealousy.
Right.
Envy.
All emotions that a kid probably had already, but experiences more in teenagehood.
Because puberty happened. Woo woo. Sound the alarms. This movie.
In fact, I think they do sound the alarms.
They do. That's why I said that. I hate Inside Out 1. I hate Inside Out 2 even more. I refuse to be in any emotional state talking about this movie.
Oh, okay. This movie isn't as good as the first one, but I really enjoy some of the messages that it had towards things like anxiety and how to deal with that, complex emotions that you can talk about with your kids, with whoever, basically. These just brings up a conversation that you can have. So I gave it 3 stars for that, but the story isn't great.
Inside Out 2 is the same movie as Inside Out 1. Riley gets an emotion that Joy is jealous of, and then Joy has to go on a journey with other emotions to get a MacGuffin to solve Riley's problems, but at the same time discovers that it's okay to have other emotions. God damn it, this movie was terrible, and so was the first one. Joy sucks. 2 stars, because the animation's pretty. Fuck this movie.
All right, you can actually have emotion for the last moment, because you have to have emotion when you say that line.
Fuck this movie. This movie sucks. Inside Out 2 is horrible. This movie, right in its stupid face. It doesn't even have like the same good messages that the initial one had. In fact, it repeats the same message, but in a worse way. How did this make $600 million? I don't understand. This movie. You Pixar. And Joy sucks. Joy is the worst protagonist in the history of movies. Fight me on this. I don't care. Amy Poehler's really good as the voice, though.
Oh, she is.
Really
Love
good
her.
as the voice. And you sideline Sadness again. Are you kidding me? The whole first movie was like, accept sadness. And then in this movie, they were like, sadness.
You
Go
have to
over in the
accept,
corner.
You have to accept anxiety now.
Which is basically sadness. But like, to an extreme. I hate this movie. Hate it so much. It was a terrible way to end June. But anyway, that's the movies we watched for June. If you made it this far, thank you for watching this entire video. Let us know in the comments below what movies you watched on this list, or what movies we should have watched in June, because we're always looking for good recommendations. Until we see you next time, just remember to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because we always have new videos coming out. And in the meantime, be good to yourself, be kind to others, Inside Out, and keep watching movies.
Bye.